Item 350. Microsurfacing. 1. Description. Furnish and place a microsurfacing system consisting of a mixture of cationic polymer modified asphalt emulsion, mineral aggregate, mineral filler, water, and other additives. 2. Materials. Furnish uncontaminated materials of uniform quality that meet the requirements of the plans and specifications. Provide the engineer with representative samples of all component materials for verification. Notify the engineer of all material sources and before changing any material source or formulation. The engineer will verify that the specification requirements are met when the contractor makes a source or formulation change, and may require a new laboratory mixture design, trial batch, or both. The engineer may sample and test project materials at any time during the project to verify specification compliance in accordance with Item 6, Control of Materials. 2.1 Cationic polymer modified asphalt emulsion. Provide CSS1P in accordance with Section 300.2.4, Emulsified asphalt. 2.2 Aggregate. Furnish crushed aggregate from a single source meeting the requirements of Table 1 and Table 2. Determine aggregate gradations for mixture design and production testing based on the washed sieve analysis given in Text 200F, Part 2. Aggregate from sources listed in the Department's Bituminous Rated Source Quality Catalog, BRSQC, are pre-approved for use. For sources not listed on the Department's BRSQC, build an individual stockpile for each material. Request the Department test the stockpile for specification compliance, and, once approved, do not add material to the stockpile unless otherwise approved. Allow 30 calendar days for the engineer to sample, test, and report results for non-listed sources. Do not combine approved material with unapproved material. Include the amount of mineral filler added to the mix in determining the total minus number 200 aggregate fraction. Table 1. Master gradation limits. Percent passing by weight or volume. Sieve size and percent passing. Sieve size 3/8 with 100% passing. Sieve size number 4 with 86.0 to 94% passing. Sieve size number 8 with 45.0 to 65% passing. Sieve size number 16 with 25.0 to 46% passing. Sieve size number 30 with 15.0 to 35% passing. Sieve size number 50 with 10.0 to 25% passing. Sieve size number 100 with 7.0 to 18% passing. Sieve size number 200 with 5.0 to 15% passing. Table 2. Aggregate quality requirements. See table in specifications. 1. Surface aggregate classification of A is required unless otherwise shown on the plans. 2. Only applies to crushed gravel. 2.3 Mineral filler. Provide a mineral filler that is sufficiently dry, free-flowing, and free of clumps and foreign matter consisting of non-air entrained cement meeting the requirements of DMS 4600, hydraulic cement, or hydrated lime meeting the requirements of DMS 6350, lime and lime slurry. 2.4 Water. Provide water that is potable and free of harmful soluble salts. 2.5 Other additives. Use approved additives as recommended by the emulsion manufacturer in the emulsion mix or in any of the component materials when necessary to adjust mix time in the field. 2.6 Tack coat. Furnish CSS1H or SS1H for tack coat binder in accordance with Item 300, asphalts, oils, and emulsions. Specialized or preferred tack coat materials may be allowed or required when shown on the plans. Do not dilute emulsified asphalts at the terminal, in the field, or at any other location before use. 3. Equipment. Maintain equipment in good repair and operating condition. 3.1 Mixing machine. Furnish a self-propelled microsurfacing mixing machine with self-loading devices to promote continuous laying operations. Enough storage capacity for mixture materials. Individual volume or weight controls that will proportion each material to be added to the mix. Continuous flow mixing with a revolving multi-blade mixer capable of discharging the mixture on a continuous flow basis. Opposite side driving stations. Full hydrostatic control of the forward and reverse speed during operation. A water pressure system and nozzle type spray bar immediately ahead of the spreader box and capable of spraying the roadway for the width of the spreader box. A mechanical type spreader box equipped with paddles or other devices capable of agitating and spreading the materials throughout the box. A spreader box with devices capable of providing lateral movement or side shift abilities, and a spreader box with a front seal, adjustable rear strike-off, and an adjustable secondary rear strike-off. Calibrate and properly mark each control device that proportions the individual materials. Equip the aggregate feed with a revolution counter or similar device capable of determining the quantity of aggregate used at all times. Provide a positive displacement type emulsion pump with a revolution counter or similar device capable of determining the quantity of emulsion used at all times. Provide an approved mineral filler feeding system capable of uniformly and accurately metering the required material. 3.2 Scales. Scales used for weighing aggregates and emulsion must meet all requirements of Item 520, Weighing and Measuring Equipment. The weighing equipment for aggregates may be either a suspended hopper or a belt scale. 3.3 Asphalt storage and handling equipment. Furnish a thermometer in each tank to indicate the asphalt temperature when continuously storage tanks are used. Keep equipment clean and free of leaks. Keep asphalt materials free from contamination. For construction. Produce, transport, and place microsurfacing as specified in this item or as shown on the plans. Provide emulsion and aggregate that are compatible so that the mixing process will completely and uniformly coat the aggregate. Ensure that the finished surface has a uniform texture and the microsurface mat is fully adhered to the underlying pavement. The engineer may perform production tests at any time during the project, as deemed necessary in accordance with Item 5, Control of the work. Schedule and participate in a pre-paving meeting with the engineer on or before the first day of paving unless otherwise directed. 4.1 Mixture Design. Provide a mixture design meeting the proportions shown in Table 3 and the requirements shown in Table 4. Provide the engineer with representative samples of all component materials for verification of the mix design, unless otherwise directed. The construction division will verify the mixture design to ensure it meets the minimum requirements for wet track abrasion where value listed in Table 4. Provide the engineer with approximately 40 pounds of each aggregate stockpile, at least 1 gal. Of asphalt emulsion, at least 1 gal. Of mineral filler, and sufficient quantities of any additives proposed for use. The engineer may accept an existing mixture design previously used on a department project, but the mixture design may be subjected to annual verification using laboratory-produced mixes before starting the paving season. Production may begin at the contractor's risk without receiving the results from the department's verification if approved by the engineer. Table 3. Mixture Design Proportions. See Table in Specifications. Table 4. Mixture Design Requirements. See Table in Specifications. 4.2 Reporting, Testing, and Responsibilities. Use department-provided templates to record and calculate all test data pertaining to production testing. Obtain the current version of the templates at http://www.txdot.gov/inside-forms-consultants-forms-site-manager.html or from the engineer. The engineer will immediately report to the contractor any test results that fail to meet the specification requirements. Note that mix placed after test results are available to the contractor may be considered unauthorized work if the results require suspension of operations. Unauthorized work will be accepted or rejected at the discretion of the engineer in accordance with Article 5.3, Conformity with Plans, Specifications, and Special Provisions. 4.3 Temporary Material Storage. 4.3.1 Aggregate storage. Stockpile materials to prevent segregation or contamination. Remix stockpiles with suitable equipment when necessary to eliminate segregation. Use a scalping screen to remove oversized material while transferring aggregates to the mixing machine. 4.3.2 Mineral filler storage. Store the mineral filler in a manner that will keep it dry and free from contamination. 4.3.3 Asphalt material storage. Keep asphalt materials free from contamination. 4.4 Weather limitations. The contractor may pave any time the roadway has no standing water on the roadway surface, the roadway surface temperature is at least 60 degrees Fahrenheit and the ambient temperature is at least 50 degrees Fahrenheit and rising. Place mixtures only when the engineer determines the roadway surface weather and moisture conditions are suitable. The engineer may restrict the contractor from paving if the ambient temperature is below 60 degrees Fahrenheit and falling. Cease placement 24 HR before the weather forecast. National Weather Service, predict temperatures below 32 degrees Fahrenheit unless otherwise approved. 4.5 Surface preparation. Prepare the surface by removing raised pavement markers and objectionable materials such as moisture, dirt, sand, leaves, and other loose impediments from the surface before placing mixture. Provide a water spray immediately ahead of the spreader box when required for existing surface conditions when tack coat is not required. Apply water at a rate that will dampen the entire surface without any free-flowing water ahead of the spreader box. 4.6 Tack coat. Apply tack coat uniformly at the rate directed by the engineer when shown on the plans. The engineer will set the rate between 0.04 and 0.10 gal of residual asphalt per square yard of surface area. Apply the tack coat in a uniform manner to avoid streaks and other irregular patterns. 4.7 Material transfer. Minimize construction joints by providing continuous loading of material during placement. Remove oversized material before transferring the aggregates to the mixing machine. 4.8 Placing. Make necessary adjustments so that the mixture will have sufficient working life to allow for proper placement at the predicted ambient temperature and humidity. Spread the mixture uniformly to the lines and grades shown on the plans or as directed by means of a mechanical type spreader box. Shift the spreader box when necessary to maintain proper alignment. Clean the spreader box regularly to prevent buildup from occurring and to minimize clumps. Set and maintain the spreader box skids to prevent chatter in the finished mat. Prevent loss of material from the spreader box by maintaining contact between the front seal and the road surface. Adjust the rear seal to provide the desired spread. Adjust the secondary strike off to provide the desired surface texture. Clean strike off regularly to prevent buildup from occurring. 4.9 Curing. Protect the finished mat from traffic until the mixture cures and will not be damaged by traffic. Adjust mixture properties according to humidity conditions and ambient temperatures to allow traffic on completed travel lanes within 1 HR after placement with no damage to the surface. Protect locations subject to sharp turning, stopping, and starting traffic for longer periods when necessary. 4.10 Production testing. Control the production process within the operational tolerances listed in Table 5. Provide access to the mixing unit discharge stream for sampling purposes. Suspend production when the engineer's test results exceed the operational tolerances. The engineer will allow production to resume when test results or other information indicate the next mixture produced will be within the operational tolerances listed in Table 5. Table 5. Operational tolerances. See table in specifications. 1. Dry to constant weight at 230 degrees Fahrenheit plus or minus 10 degree F. 2. Material passing number 200 sieve including the mineral filler must conform to the limitations of the master gradation shown in Table 1. The asphalt content may be reduced below the tolerance when lean mixes are necessary for scratch and rut passes but not less than the design minimum shown for the wet track abrasion test when approved. 4.11 Workmanship. Immediately take corrective action if microsurfacing material is exhibiting evidence of poor workmanship, delayed opening to traffic, or surface irregularities, including excessive scratch marks, drag marks, tears, streaks, raveling, delamination, and segregation. The engineer may allow placement to continue for no more than 1 day of production while taking appropriate action. Suspend paving if the problem still exists after 1 day until the problem is corrected to the satisfaction of the engineer. 4.11.1 Finished surface. Provide a finished surface with a uniform texture free from excessive scratch marks, tears, or other surface irregularities. Marks, tears, or irregularities are considered excessive if more than one is at least 1/4 inches wide and at least 10 feet long in any 100 feet of machine pull. More than 3 are at least 1/2 inch wide and more than 6 inches long in any 100 feet of machine pull, or any are 1 inch wide or wider and more than 4 inches in length. 4.11.2 Construction joints. Place mixture so that longitudinal joints on the surface course coincide with lane lines, or as directed. Provide longitudinal and transverse joints that are uniform and neat in appearance. Provide construction joints that have limited buildup and no gaps between applications. Joints with buildup will be considered acceptable if no more than 1/2 inch vertical space exists between the pavement surface and a 4 feet straight edge placed perpendicular to the longitudinal joint, and no more than 1/4 inches vertical space exists between the pavement surface and a 4 feet straight edge placed perpendicular to the transverse joint. 4.11.3 Edges. Provide an edge along the roadway center line, lane lines, shoulder, edge of pavement, or curb line that is uniform and neat in appearance. The edge is considered acceptable when it varies no more than plus or minus 3 in from a 100 feet straight line on a tangent section, and it varies no more than plus or minus 3 in from a 100 feet arc on a curved section. 4.12 Miscellaneous areas. Use a single batch type laydown machine or other approved method to place materials on ramps or other short sections. Apply tack coat uniformly at the rate directed by the engineer when shown on the plans, or lightly dampen the surface with water before placing the mix when tack coat is not required. Provide 100% coverage that is uniform in appearance and comparable to that produced by the spreader box. 4.13 Ruts. Fill ruts, utility cuts, and depressions in the existing surface in a separate pass from the final surface when shown on the plans. Fill ruts as follows. Fill irregular or shallow ruts less than 1/2 inch deep with a full width scratch coat pass. Use a rigid primary strike-off plate unless otherwise approved. Fill ruts 1/2 inch deep or deeper independently using a rut-filling spreader box that is at least 5 feet wide. Crown the spreader box to compensate for traffic compaction. Fill ruts deeper than 1.5 inches in multiple placements unless otherwise approved. Cure each lift 24 hours before placement of the next lift when using multiple placements. 4.14 Repairs. Perform full width repairs unless otherwise directed. 5. Measurement. Microsurfacing will be measured by the ton of the composite microsurfacing mixture, which includes asphalt emulsion, aggregate, and mineral filler. 5.1 Aggregate. The quantity of aggregate used in the accepted portion of work will be measured by net ticket weight of each individual load of aggregate based on dry weight of aggregate. Weigh the aggregate at the project stockpile site unless otherwise approved. Use either a suspended hopper scale or a belt scale meeting the requirements of item 520, weighing and measuring equipment. The calculated weight of mineral filler based on the accepted portion of work will be used for measurement and included in the total aggregate weight. 5.2 Polymer modified asphalt emulsion. The quantity of polymer modified asphalt emulsion in the accepted portion of work will be measured by the ton of material based on the accepted load tickets issued from the manufacturer. At the completion of the project, any unused emulsion will be weighed back and deducted from the accepted asphalt emulsion quantity delivered. 6. Payment. The work performed and materials furnished in accordance with this item and measured as provided under measurement will be paid for at the unit bid price per ton for microsurfacing. This price is full compensation for preparing the existing surface, including removing existing raised pavement markers, furnishing, hauling, preparing, and placing materials, and equipment, labor, tools, and incidentals.